Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be continuing with the ink blending we kind of started playing with yesterday. So grab some supplies and come join me at the table. Today we're going to be working on cards. So it's going to be a little bit smaller of a canvas. I already have my Taylor Expression stencils out. I've cut card front pieces 4 inches by 5 1/4, so they're ready to go. Once we're done doing our blending and stamping, all we will have to do is attach them to the card front. All right, so here is the stencil set from Tailored Expressions. And I love these because you have a large oval and a small oval, but I want more real estate, so I'm going to use the larger oval. And it's hard to show on camera, but on these stencils, they have lines so you can line up your card front piece. So I want to say there's a line for the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and then there was lines here where I was lining up as well. For me doing the video, I would have had to hold this straight up to my face to see the lines. So I just tried to make it as even as possible. All right, so we're going to be using Stormy Sky, Fossilized Amber, and Bundle Sage. And I'm starting with Bundle Sage on the bottom. And I'm just going to bring this up probably like 1/4 inch. It might have been a little bit too far up, but I was just thinking just a little bit of the yellow kind of in between the two colors to kind of blend them together. So that's why I took the green up as far as I did. And then the very top is going to be the Stormy Sky. And though there was just a little section of Stormy Sky, I was like, you know what? Let me just bring that Stormy Sky down a little bit more while I'm blending. And I think that'll make for a really pretty card front. And I'm just going to move those out the way. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try and stamp my sort of like silhouette image. But I think I wind up doing not doing it with the stencil still attached. You'll see, because whenever I use a stencil, I seem to have like a section missing because there's a little bit of a lip, for the thickness of the stencil itself. So we're gonna wind up stamping it using some masking tape. So you'll see in a second here. Once I do this one, I figure it out, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do something else. So we just line those back up, and we're taking our Versaclear Black Onyx ink, or it's Onyx Black, I don't know. And we're gonna go ahead and stamp this down, and then I'm gonna use my Pink Fresh what is it called? I don't even know what this tool's called, to be honest. But this is what I use to press down on my Misty tools to hopefully get a much better pressure and solid image. So you can see here, the image didn't do as well as I wanted it to. So I'm going to have to ink it up a second time. And this is kind of where in my thinking, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I have just way too many of the magnets in the way. And moving the magnets did help some. It allowed me to get a closer in some of the areas. So that's good. But even after I was done, there's still that line. So it's like, okay. So what can we do to kind of fix it? Well, first I'm going to put that off to the side, and we're going to grab another one of the pre-cut papers that I have. And we're going to try, like I said, doing this one slightly different. I was looking for one of my card bases, but alas, I think I wind up having to do something else. Oh no, I found the masking tape. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a masking tape big enough to be the entire width of the stencil, right? And then once I trim that, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw the oval. And then that way, when we cut out the center oval piece, it'll be the opening to match our card front. And so when we're done with the blending, we'll be able to line it up and then stamp on it with not the same thickness of the stencil. Because that was really what was hindering the full stamping of our basically silhouette image, right? Our focal image. Okay, so I cleaned up the stencil real quick. I didn't want to get my paper dirty. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut out this inner circle, and then we're going to set it to the side. Because what we'll do is we'll peel off the backing and stuff when we're ready to apply it to the card base. All right, so let's get this lined up again. Flip it over, line it up, and let's put down our washi tape. And this particular washi tape I'm using is from All Create. It's one that you're supposed to line up, but I realized I'm probably not going to be using it like that. But it was fun to play with. So again, we're starting with our bundle sage, and we're going to work our way up. And then I didn't go up as far with this one. And then we're going to do it one more time. If you go back and forth, you'll get a really nice blend with your colors. Okay, we're just cleaning that up. Creating our nice blend between all three colors. All right, and then we took the backing off, and now I've lined up the basically the masking tape, right? This is the kind of tape that you would put down if you wanted to create like images in the background and have something stand more, front forward on the card. But you can use this to mask the rest of the card. We inked it up with the Black Nocturnal ink, and this one really with like one stamp, it's like it's going to line up just where we want it to be. See how much further down it is to that to the base? And that's literally because the masking tape isn't as thick. So it allows you to get a closer edge. Now, another way that you could do that is if you have like oval dies, you could always die cut your card front and then use it as a masking, you know what I mean? To like, it's hard to explain. But anyway, in that masking paper, you could use a die. And then it would match up because they would be both the same size, right? So then you wouldn't have to hand cut around to get your masking image. So since the first one I did kind of got messed up, I decided to grab some what do they call this card? Craft cardstock. Jesus, the word just left my brain. And we're gonna create a card front using the craft. Same thing, except for on this one, we're not gonna use the yellow. We're just gonna use Stormy Sky and Bundled Sage. And we're turning these cards into sympathy cards. because I've noticed lately, you need them more and more, and I don't know what that means for our society, but I just feel like you keep hearing more and more about people who are passing away, and finding that you need to send sympathy cards is uh, more prominent. So we're going to take our craft cardstock off, and we're going to line up our masking tape and try and line it up as best we can, making it nice and even and no bumps. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and get this put in. We're going to put it all the way up to the top corner. Very good. And then we're going to stamp. And I really need to get either a refill of this VersaClair ink, or I need to get a new VersaClair ink, because normally it doesn't take that much for you to get the ink onto the stamp, because I think this one may be drying out, but hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. I've had this one for quite a few years now, and it's just now starting to feel like it's getting dry, so that's not bad at all. Okay, now since I don't plan on using this masking tape again, I've torn it off, and then we'll take off the washi tape that's on the back of the card. But it created a perfect image, just like it did with the last one. So in doing this process, I would definitely say get you some masking tape, or like a thin cardstock, and make a stencil. Then using an actual stencil, it can sometimes make it not get a clean image when you do the stamping on top. But now I think we have a beautiful image. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get these attached. And I always use the tape and wet glue. So if this is your first time joining me, you will see this on my channel. If you look at my other videos, I do that for multiple reasons. One, it allows me just a little bit of time before the glue sets in to be able to pull something apart if I put it on crooked. And I like to know that it's not going to fall apart on me in a year or two if somebody saves it. If you use both the tape and the glue, it's definitely going to be secure. Okay, so now we're going to grab another 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I'm going to fold it in half. And this is a Neenah 100 pound. This is more cream colored, and we're going to go ahead and fold that at 5.5. All right. And then once we fold it over, I always usually like fold it inside out and then fold again. But this one had a little bit of some paper, so that's why I grabbed the sander to sand it down. And now we're going to attach our card base, our card front, I should say. All right. And then go ahead and lay that on top. Now with these two, you could have used foam tape to put it on top of the card front. It all depends on what you plan on doing. I'm looking here to see if they had anything about sympathy with Hope and Blessed. And unfortunately, they did not. So I do take a brief stop once I'm looking at the stamps that are here around me. And I do look into my stamp stash, and I find two with sympathies. I have one that's just a plain stamp, which is what we're inking up right now. And that's going to go on the bottom left of the white base. And with sympathy. And there's that. And then we're going to do the craft colored one. But on this one, we're going to do I have on this block one where it has lines on either side of the with sympathy. And this one, we're going to ink it up and line it up to the top part of the card so that the with sympathy is, or at least the word sympathy, is going across the stormy sky. And then we're going to press down and lift up as best we can. And there you have it. With sympathy. Now, these cards, just like this, could be done. They're very pretty. Of course, you know me, I got a splatter. So, let me see. What was I? Oh, I was going to show you another with sympathy stamp, but it wouldn't come off my my stamp collection there for whatever reason. Like, I'd never used it before. It seemed like it was super tight and there was no point. So I'm grabbing actually the Heidi Swapp Gold this time because it's almost done and it's here on my desk. So I figured I could just grab it, use it so that way I can finish it up. We're going to use that, and then we're also going to hit it with some white and some black splatters. A lot of times when I splatter, I use 3 colors. I think it adds depth. You got the gold for a little bit of shine or shimmer when you tilt the card. And then the black and white are just 2 really nice neutrals. With the dark colors or even with the craft paper, the white really stands out. So I like that a lot. And that's it. Now, when you see this card, the one I just showed you at the end, there's some smudges and stuff. I splattered a little bit more on top. So hopefully it's not horrible looking, but you got to be careful. If it's not dry, make sure you lay them separate so that way you don't ruin your cards. Okay? So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you like this project from the blending technique that we did yesterday. And feel free to leave comments down below. Consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And I will look forward to seeing you guys with our next video. Have a great day.